Okay. Hi, Nihshanka, how are you?
Hi, Douglas. Doing very well. Looking forward to this conversation today. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for coming on the show. Nice to see you. Nice to have you with us. So, we're going to be talking about a couple of books that you have written that are going to be released sometime next year. One of them is a chess book called Checkmate. Before we get to the book, well, let me just say this. You said that that book has been released in India, but it has not been released in the United States. Is that correct?
That's right. Happy to share that Checkmate was out in the Indian subcontinent a couple of years ago, and I'm really looking forward to the prospect of bringing Checkmate to the rest of the world by the middle of next year.
Now, you told me before we got on that you're in the United States. How long have you been in this country?
I've been here for over 2 decades, so now
Oh,
now it's a little bit like India and the US both are home for me.
okay. So I guess the question that begs to be asked is why did you release the book in India but not release it in the United States?
Yeah, and thank you for that question. The target audience when I began to write this book was fairly broad, but because of my experience playing chess in India, and because of the fact that I knew a lot of authors in India, I built some relationships in the publishing world in India, and so that's how it sort of progressed. And having seen what worked well in India, now I'm looking forward to the opportunity to bring the book to the rest of the world. And so just a lot of experiences from childhood, which was set in chess in India, were were leveraged by me in writing this book. And so it seemed like the natural starting point. Launch the book, and now taking those lessons learned, I'm looking forward to sharing with the rest of the world.
Did you start playing chess as a boy, as a kid?
Yes, actually, chess was a big part of my childhood. When I was maybe 12 till I was about 16, I played chess very seriously. Competitive chess actually represented my state at the national level twice. So it was a big part of my childhood for sure. And that passion, along with the passion for reading and eventually telling stories, that's ultimately what brought me to writing Checkmate.
Can you make money playing chess?
If you're really good, for me it was more of a passion, and just something that actually taught me a lot of lessons which I've been able to leverage in life, even outside chess. But if you're really good, if you are persistent and treat it like any pursuit that maybe in the professional world, you can get to that level where you're competing with the best in the world, and definitely you can make money.
So you said you got to be, how far up did you get in competitions?
Yeah, so I played at the state level for several years. I won the under 12 Delhi Chess Championship, and then I was also ranked for the under 14, if I remember correctly. And then I actually played at the national level twice. So I went up to the national level twice, and at that point I had other plans, etc., etc. So I took a break from chess, playing competitive chess, and then of course I returned several years later from a literary perspective.
What advice would you give to people who are chess players? I know I'm not a chess player, but I understand the sort of the theory of it. Is there any one particular thing that you would tell people that are aspiring to be better chess players?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll pick one out of several. Right, the one idea lesson is never to give up. Many a times when I was playing competitive chess, I was up against better players, and often I would find that my chess pieces would be forced into horrible positions, but I was able to withstand my opponent's attack. And what I found is that after the attack passed, I was able to improve my position piece by piece, move by move, and it ended up winning many of those games. So it's a lesson actually that applies to life. Definitely for chess, don't give up, don't resign.
Okay. Well, I think that applies for everything as well, right? Okay. Well, let's pivot over to your book. So, the book is called Checkmate, and this is not your story, is it? I mean, the story of your life as a chess player as a kid?
Oh, absolutely not. It is a historical fiction thriller. So yeah, it's very different.
Okay, give us a bit of a synopsis, maybe like a 1 minute or 2 minute
Yeah.
synopsis.
Yeah, happy to. Actually, Checkmate is a thriller tied to the origin of chess. It has two parallel storylines. One set in the 5th century, where we're following a warrior who's trying to save his people, save his kingdom, and save his mother as well. We've got a 21st century businesswoman who's forced back to India when her father passes away to manage his corporate empire, and she's plunged into this mystery as she follows these clues one by one. She also is pulled into this search for the origin of chess, and that's how the two storylines intersect. But even beyond being a book about the origin of chess, Checkmate tries to touch upon certain universal themes such as bonds of parental love, the extent to which one goes to save one's loved ones and their memories.
Now, you said that this is going to be released in the United States when?
Yeah, I'm aiming to launch this book in the United States, even the rest of the world by the middle of next year.
By the middle of next year. Okay. Well, we look forward to that. You've also got a couple of other books that you wanted to touch on. We've got 12 Short Tales, you said, is a giveaway book. What is that one?
So 12 short tales is a way for me to share with readers what what types of stories I think of, also add some value to readers just by giving them a free book. If you're interested in my website authordebroy.com, feel free to head over there and grab a free copy of the book. And the essence of that book is that not every story needs 1,000 words, right? Some can be told in a few lines, and each of these 12 tales is just a few lines long, which is supposed to spark some mystery or an emotion. So definitely check it out. It's free, and the and I'll talk about the numbers book as well in a second here. But that's what 12 Short Tales is about.
Okay. All right. So tell us about the numbers book.
The numbers book is one that I'm also very excited about as well. It's a self-help book. The target reader for that book is anybody who's ever struggled with numbers, right? When I have a lot of friends who say that I have a physical reaction when I deal with numbers. They're maybe underconfident, they're uncomfortable, and that became a mission for me because I feel that numbers are a great way to understand the world, to interpret the world, and actually numbers can help you make decisions on a day-to-day basis. So the idea of my numbers book is to build that confidence level in numbers for people one step at a time, one number at a time, if you will. So looking forward to that as well.
Is this like numerology?
This is actually slightly different. I'll take an analogy. Let's say you're in a new city or town. One way to handle it is plugging every address into the GPS and being able to find your way. The other approach is to walk the streets, take a look at the shops at every corner, and then automatically your brain starts forming patterns and you get comfortable in the city. And that's what I'm trying to do with my numbers book, make numbers an experience for readers so that every number they come across is adding value to their life, and ultimately they start seeing patterns, and without actually having to put any effort into memorizing numbers, they automatically start getting confident in them.
Is this book going to be helpful for anybody doing mathematics or no?
It is the idea of my self-help book is basically to make anybody more comfortable with numbers. It's not meant to be a book about shortcuts to do mental calculations really quickly. There are plenty of books out there. This is meant to be a way of incorporating numbers in your life. So yes, by virtue of being more comfortable with numbers, you will automatically start feeling more confident in mathematics tests, etc., etc. But the idea is to create a powerful emotional experience through numbers for the reader.
Now, is this one your latest manuscript? On your bio, it says, share with the readers about your latest manuscript. Is that one?
That's the one that's closest to being out there. Apart from Checkmate, of course, there are other manuscripts that I've been working on, but those are still a distance away. So these are the two that I'm excited about, especially for 2023.
Is chess and numbers related at all?
Absolutely, absolutely. Chess requires a lot of calculation, thinking about different combinations. If my opponent does this, what are my three options? Then stepping further down into that path, the next move, the next two, three moves, and so on and so forth. So you have all these combinations that come about, and the brain sifts through and picks out the appropriate combination to pursue. And with numbers, the more numbers you interact with, the more patterns and connections you see with other numbers. So both have a very analytical aspect to them. And as you get more comfortable playing chess, you start seeing more patterns in chess moves. And the same is true of numbers. And in that sense, it's not surprising that I'm writing both these books.
When they have two computers playing chess against each other, it's possible that they could just stalemate every time, right?
It is possible. Now it depends a little bit on the level of the computer. Some computers have more elaborate chess strategies built into the code. I think that I'm not as close to the way chess programs are coded nowadays, but I anticipate that there's some level of randomness built into it. So it's not that every single move is predictable based on prior sequences. There's a certain amount of randomness built into it is what I think. So because of that randomness, you may not ultimately get a stalemate, but if it's two computers that are approximately at the same level, I think across a number of games, they will end up being about even. That's what I would think.
And they would just stalemate every time. Yeah.
Either stalemate every time, or if they play each other 100 times, then they might be somewhat neck and neck. I think at the individual game level, because of the unpredictability, if that is a piece of the logic behind the chess programming, then that randomness may lead to situations which are not stalemates. But I think over time, if the two computers are neck and neck, I think you'd end up seeing approximately the same number of wins and losses.
And losses. Okay. All right. Well, we do have to wind this down. Thanks so much for coming on. Can you give out your website again, please?
Yeah, absolutely. It's authordebroy.com. So that's author plus my last name. And would be happy to see you out there. As I shared earlier, I've got a free book. So you're welcome to grab it. And I look forward to being in touch. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. It was nice meeting you, and best of luck. We look forward to your books coming out next year sometime.
Thank you, Douglas, very much. Thanks for having me.